bubbling of the skin?
I couldn't see that because of the decomposition.
And how long does Tylenol and hydrocodone stay detectable in the body?
Usually 12 hours after the body would already metabolize the drug and come out in the urine, so that the drug was already there at the time of death.
All right. I will allow reasonable follow-up as to those questions only. Mr. Allen?
So, Dr. Ignacio, just so we're clear, when you say 12 hours for those things to metabolize in the body, if it hasn't completely, like the hydrocodone, had not completely metabolized and been expelled by the body, even if it's been an extended period of time, like in this case, you would still detect hydrocodone.
Yes, if you were alive and you would take hydrocodone, after 12 hours, we don't even test for drugs anymore because it's going to be out of the system. But when he died at that time, he had the hydrocodone. It was even able to metabolize because it converted to hydromorphone. So there's some time there, but the drug was still there because he died around that time.
When you say that the hydrocodone had started to metabolize, so that means, does that mean that the body has processed some of that hydrocodone, but not all of it at the time of death?
Yes, maybe before he died and he was attacked.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Mr. Cook?
Thank you. Doctor, when you were talking about the burning or bubbling of the skin, so there could have been burn marks or burn injuries on the arms, but due to decomposition, you would not be able to detect those any longer, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And when you get a sample to test for drugs, as in the case with Gannon here, where are you getting the sample from? Or is there still urine that can be captured from the bladder? I know they do that a lot of times in these toxicology tests. Or just tell the jury where you got these samples from.
Since he didn't have any more blood, it was all fluids, body fluids. We couldn't test that, so we take liver. So these levels are from the liver tissue.
Okay. And a lot of times in these types of investigations, you have a blood level and a urine level. And I've heard testimony before that a urine levels, they're not as accurate about time of ingestion and everything, and it's mostly byproducts. Would the samples that you got from the liver, would that be considered a blood level or a urine level test?
It's a liver tissue level.
Liver tissue level, okay. Which would indicate if it was to the liver, there had been some metabolism of the drugs that had already taken place by the body?
Yes, it was recovered in the liver.
Okay. Did you attempt to get samples from anywhere else?
Can't recall. I think
if you have your report, would that refresh your recollection?
We took liver tissue and spleen tissue, but they tested the liver.
Okay. And what is the significance of taking samples from the liver versus the spleen?
If you can't take from blood or urine, we take from the liver.
Okay.
So you can see there will be drugs in the liver too, and there might be levels for that. But with this case, because of the decomposition, it's hard to determine the values.
Okay. And I guess I asked a bad question, and I apologize. When you're taking a sample from the spleen, why take it from the spleen as well as the liver?
Because you could also have drugs in the spleen. Blood flows through the spleen.
Okay. And would you expect to have the same results with a liver sample versus a spleen sample, or could there be differences?
It could be different.
All right. Thank you, doctor.
All right. Thank you, doctor. You may step down.